playoffs, but this time as a wild card team. They now appear to be surging just in time. Their explosive leaders look to reestablish the dominance they possessed only a short time ago. The 5-time Super Bowl champions commence this new season with restored confidence as the playoff drive begins. Philadelphia head coach Ray Rhodes makes his return to San Francisco. Ricky Watters also returns, aiming to sprint past his former team. For the Eagles, the 1996 season has had its ups and downs. But today is a new beginning. San Francisco is the setting as the second season awaits. San Francisco, 3Com Park is the setting, and the weather changes by the minute. They're talking now about 60-mile-an-hour winds, rain coming sideways for this wild card match between the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. Weather indeed is going to be a factor. Pat Summerall here with John Madden, and John, all week long we've been hearing about Ricky Watters, about the return of Ray Rhodes. The Philadelphia Eagles in this sudden death event now, the playoffs, the loser is out. How do the Eagles approach this game under these conditions?
Well, I think Ricky Watters is going to be a big part of it, but I don't know if it's just going to be running the ball. One of the things that the Eagles want to do is spread out the 49er defense, not let them get packed in there. Then they want to be able to run inside, where they don't have a lot of guys in there, take Tim McDonald out. But I think the other thing that they have to be able to do when they do spread them out, in other words, put a back out there and a tight end out there with the 2 wide receivers, they have to be able to throw the ball. You aren't going to beat the 49ers by just running the ball. You can't do that. You have to be able to throw it. So Ty Detmer is going to have to do that. On defense, it's an interesting thing. They're going to start and play a nickel defense. They're going to play with 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, and they're going to have Mike Zordich, who's normally a strong safety, play a linebacker. Now, when the 49ers see that, and they face that a lot, what they try and do against that is run the ball at it and get them out of that defense.
John, the 49ers in recent weeks, a couple of years ago, they looked like they were a fast break team. They had everybody back on their heels. They look like they're approaching that level again now.
Yeah, they are, and I think Terrell Owens, the rookie wide receiver on the other side of Jerry Rice, I think that has helped. Of course, Jerry Rice, one of the greatest that ever played this game, and then getting Brent Jones, their tight end, healthy again, I think that helped. The big thing to me is Steve Young. I mean, Steve Young is that dimension. Like I've always said, Steve Young is not only the best quarterback on this team, but he's the best running back on this team. And I think that we know about the rain, we know about the wind, and the 49ers are going to be able to do a lot of things if they can get pass protection.
In a situation like this, sometimes you have to forget about the playing conditions and think about playing. And therein lies the secret. 59 degrees, but the wind gust up to 60 miles an hour. The forecast, heavy wind and rain, and it has been coming down since early this morning. Derek Witherspoon back deep. Jeff Wilkins will kick it off. Mark Say is back with Witherspoon. Short kick. There'll be a lot of kickoff returns today if they can handle it. At the 3. Witherspoon breaks out of the pack. Close to the 30, and there he's down. Let's have a look at the Eagle offense led by Ty Detmer. His record 7-4 as a starter. In front of him, Barrett Brooks, McIntyre, the ex-49er, McKenzie, Panos, and Richard Cooper. Waters, the ex-49er, Turner, Fryer, Christy Jones, and Jason Dunn, the rookie tight end. 1st and 10, Philadelphia at their own 29. Ty Detmer. Fryer was the man in motion, and that's Waters. At the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Let's look at that 49er defense. They are among the best. The 2 tackles, Stubblefield and Bryant Young, the anchors. Barker and Dolman both have had good years as the defensive ends. 3 fine linebackers, Plummer, Norton, and Woodall. And the secondary, Pope, Hanks, McDonald, and Tyrone Drakeford. 3 wide receivers, 2nd and 9. Rain had just about stopped at the moment. That's Ricky Waters. First down, Philadelphia.
And that's just what we were talking about, Pat, how they were going to try and spread them out. You see, in other words, just get in here. Now they have their wide receivers outside, so that spreads out the defense. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 guys in the box. That means for the Eagles, that's a running situation. That's what Ty Detmer says. If he can get 5 men in the box, then they want to run the ball. Spread them out, get only 5 in there and run right at them.
Wide line splits by the front 5. About a yard apart. Detmer to Waters by Norton.
You see that audible? Ty Detmer was telling us last night that he's going to be doing some audibling. And again, it's checking that how many guys they have in that front box. And then it's going to either be run or pass. If they have 6 or 7 guys in the box, then you want to be able to pass against it. If they only have 5, you want to be able to run against it. That time he audibleized by patting his left hip. And that was the side they were going to run the draw to.
2nd and 10. Norton saw it also. Detmer back to throw it. Gets it outside to Jimmy Johnson. The 3rd of the Eagle tight ends, but a good receiver.
See, they had all the guys in the box that time, so that is a passing situation. Jimmy Johnson, a tight end, was spread out. Watch Ty Detmer here on that play before. You see, he pats that side, then that side. That's the audible. It's going to be a draw, and he runs it to the left side.
The 2nd pat, I guess, of the hip.
I think he goes up there, and in the huddle he calls check with me.
Yep.
Then he reads the defense and decides which side to run it to.
Here's Detmer back to throw it again. Gets it in the middle. 3rd and Fryer. That's the pattern they've had great success with all year long. They run that bunch on the side, and Fryer just finds the open spot. And
that's the thing that we were talking about with the Eagles. If they're going to win this game, you're not going to make a living running against this 49er defense. You have to be able to pass the ball. And if this 49er defense has a weakness, it's their pass defense, not their run defense. And I know what Barry Sanders did to him last Monday night, and I know what Eric Pegram did the week before, but both those teams ran successfully, and they lost against the 49ers.
Again, the Eagles will spread them out. Detmer back to throw it, screen pass to Ricky Waters. Waters picks up about 5.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Ricky Waters yesterday when we talked to him. I think everyone expected him to come in here and be all fired up, and he talked to everyone, and Ray Rhodes said he had a talk with him earlier in the week just to keep his mouth shut. And Ricky Waters is an emotional guy.
He was fired up, but he was controlled.
Yeah, he was controlled. I mean, it wasn't those emotional, out of control, I'm going to do this and that.
Garner has replaced Waters, and he gets the carry. Charlie Garner, right side down to about the 49er 25. John, this is only the 4th game this year that the Eagles have played on natural grass.
I know, and you talk about natural grass and Charlie Garner. Remember, the first game that he ever played was here for the Eagles against the 49ers. The 49ers didn't even know anything about him. And in that game, look, when he rushed for 111 yards. That was there when I started, then it went away.
That was the highlight, Richie Kotite's year as the Philadelphia coach, maybe his tenure.
Ray Rhodes was the defensive coordinator of the 49ers.
That's Jimmy Johnson again, and he gets apparently enough for a first down from Detmer.
Yeah, you have to be impressed with Ty Detmer and how calm he is in this thing, because this is a tough atmosphere to play in. I mean, you come in here and you got a wet field, and you got wind, and you got rain, and you got all these elements, and he's just calmly taking this Eagle team right down the field and passing it and running it. See again how they're spread out here. They got here, here, and here. 3 wide receivers to spread that defense out.
1st and 10. Detmer gets to Waters. Waters surges down to about the 15, stopped by Lee Woodall.
That's one of the things that they don't want to do, is they don't want that defense to get packed in there, because when you take Bryant Young, one of the best defensive players in all of football, let alone defensive lineman, and you put Dana Stubblefield next to him, those two tackles, along with the linebackers behind them, Gary Plummer and Ken Norton Jr., that's tough to run against.
3 wide receivers for the Eagles. Detmer back to throw. The 49ers blitz. He gets rid of it. Intended for Kevin Turner, who couldn't find a handle. Tim McDonald on the coverage.
Yeah, and Lee Woodall got there. It was Ken Norton and Lee Woodall, but Woodall made him throw the ball just a little before he wanted to, and I think defensive coordinator Pete Carroll thought, I've had enough of this. I got to change something up. I got to bring the linebacker right here. I got to get some pressure on him, bringing 2 linebackers from the same side and the side that Detmer was going to throw to.
3rd and 6. Pryor is wide left. Christy Jones to the other side. Here's Detmer. Another blitz, and the 49ers get there. This time it's Woodall.
And again, by Pete Carroll, that's the defensive coordinator. I think that he figures, I'm going to sit there long enough. I'm going to sit there long enough. Now I got to get an overload. There's Lee Woodall coming from the outside. Ricky Waters supposed to block him. That was a poor blocking effort by Ricky Waters.
Passive at best.
Yeah, I mean, that's terrible. That stinks. I mean, if you got to be able to run the ball, and you got to be able to catch the ball as a running back. But the other thing you have to do as a running back, you have to be able to pass protect.
Gary Anderson to try the field goal, and this could be tricky from 40 yards. The wind will have a definite effect. It was in practice, blowing it right to left. Blew it right to left.
That's the one he practiced. He did the same thing in practice, and the wind did the same thing to the same ball from the same position.
And the Eagles get nothing. The 49ers take over. This was in the pregame warm-ups. Same kind of kick for Gary Anderson.
And the same thing happened to him. He was kicking from the left hash mark that time, but that wind took it to the left, practiced it, and then he did it in the game.
Eagles go in the 3-man front. Terry Kirby made the reception. It's incomplete. They say it hit hard.
By William Thomas. He laid the leather to him on that one.
Steve Young, of course, the 49er quarterback, says he is 100% healthy now. In front of him, Wallace, Brown, Sapolo, Dahlman, and Harris Barton. Terry Kirby is the halfback, Floyd the fullback, Owens and Rice wide, and Brent Jones the tight end. William Thomas, who made the hit, stayed down. And the Eagle medical staff out looking him over. Nothing, first quarter. William Thomas over on the bench got up, walked over there. Here's the hit.
What? I mean, he really unloaded on Terry Kirby, and then he tried to come down with a left chop. And I think he hurt himself when he brought that left elbow down and hit the ground.
2nd and 10. Young back to throw. Look one way, and here's what you talked about before the game. Steve Young's running, and the threat. Woodard brought him down. Let's look at the Eagle defense. Again, John talked about before. It's a little bit different. That's the front 4, Mamula, Hall, Thomas, and Fuller. 2 linebackers, Willis and Thomas when he comes back, if he comes back. Taylor, Dawkins, Zordich, Griffin, and Benson. 5 defensive backs with Zordich playing up.
Yeah, Zordich is really playing like a weak side linebacker.
Pitches back to Kirby and nothing doing.
And they ran that right at Zordich. That's what the 49ers do, because a lot of teams will play nickel on him. Play nickel on every down, and that's what they're doing. And then they try and run him out of it. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to pick Zordich, and Zordich is out here on the right-hand side. Here's Zordich right here. So he's the extra defensive back who, in essence, is a linebacker. That's the guy that they choose to run at. That time, Mike Zordich won that battle.
Thompson back to kick for the 49ers against the wind.